Charles Leclerc has signed for Ferrari and Kimi Raikkonen is going in the opposite direction to Sauber. Now this was a move that was totally unexpected. The Ferrari, the Charles Leclerc, the Ferrari move was almost certain, but the Sauber to the Kimi Raikkonen to Sauber move was pretty much unexpected. Lyle, what are you doing here?
Raikkonen. I've just seen Raikkonen's 100th podium, Jordan, and I'll tell you something. He's going to be a Ferrari next season, and I'm so excited to see that. Oh, what have I missed? It looks like I've returned to one of the best episodes and topics that we could be talking about on this episode. Maranello has just released some big news that Charles Leclerc, who's been driving for Sauber for 1 season now, a 20-year-old Monegascan driver, younger than me and Jordan, has scored points in his first, well, as much of the season he's driven, 14 races I think it is, and he will be now partnering Sebastian Vettel, the 4-time world champion, at Scuderia Ferrari next year, and replacing Kimi Raikkonen. But it's not just a replacement, it's a swap. So as Charles goes to Ferrari from Sauber, Kimi goes back to Sauber. And when I say back, that's right, because over a decade ago, when Kimi Raikkonen started his career in Formula 1, he started with Petronas Sauber F1. It's a massive story, and it involves basically the biggest and richest team in Formula 1 with over 70 years of pedigree, to probably the poorest team in Formula 1, the one that doesn't have all the R&D parts. It has the second least amount of money in Formula 1, just above Haas. But it's a big story. Basically, it's the front and the back of Formula 1. Big stories coming out of both sides of the grid. Both great drivers swapping places, not as much as Danny was at Red Bull and Toro Rosso, but swapping places. It's a massive story, and I'm just so excited to be back on the show to talk about it.
Very nice to see you back, Lyle, of course, but probably the bigger story than that. Where have you been? Where have you been all this time? What's been going on before we delve into...
Where have I been?
Before our big topic. Where have you been?
I got a summer job, basically working at the campsite for the Formula 1 race. Obviously, I went to Silverstone at back end of July. Obviously, I put some photos on the channel. Obviously, we weren't doing it back then, so obviously I couldn't talk about it much, but obviously that was a great experience. But then, obviously, in the last few weeks, I've been to Belgium, the Belgian Grand Prix, and Italy. I don't normally get to go to the race, but obviously I was lucky enough to get to go to the races at this point. So obviously I went to Spa-Francorchamps, the Belgian Grand Prix, and obviously I went to Monza at the Italian Grand Prix. So yeah, it was just an absolute unbelievable experience to go to that race. Obviously Spa, really great atmosphere. Max Verstappen fan, obviously, because I was standing at Le Combe, obviously looking down Eau Rouge, and I got to walk some of the track as well. Obviously great Max Verstappen atmosphere. They were all standing at Eau Rouge, obviously watching it on the telly as well, obviously as he goes past, basically cheering, not every time he went past, not like a Lewis at Silverstone, but basically, yeah, just giving him an unbelievable atmosphere when he was on the podium. All the, what do you call them, the like canisters, the flares went off, you know, the Dutch ones, the smoke bombs. Yeah, just really great atmosphere, and obviously, of course, there was a sea of orange, which I absolutely love, you know, because there's only one colour for Max. Really his home race. The one guy that was in the race, which it was his home race for, Stoffel van Dorn, didn't get an atmosphere, but I don't know how that would go down. Really, there hasn't been a great Belgian driver for a very long time. See, last one was back in 2011 for Jerome D'Ambrosio. I think that was for HRT. Obviously, you know, well, who cares really? But yeah, Max, great atmosphere, and it was great atmosphere for the Formula 1 race as well. Obviously, for firstly, very annoyed because, as you all know, obviously Fernando Alonso crashed on the telly, which we didn't get. Obviously, there was no telly, so I didn't know that. And the safety car flag, or safety car banner even dropped at the end of Eau Rouge. What's at the end of Eau Rouge? Le Combe. Where was that standing? Le Combe. So yeah, didn't get to see a start. Obviously, people at Eau Rouge, people on Radion, people at La Source, and you know, they all got to see a start. Sorry, I meant the Kemmel Straight that the Dutch fans were on, not Eau Rouge. But yeah, they all got to see a start, and we didn't. So that was really annoying for us. And then obviously moving on to Monza, obviously fantastic to be there. Jordan, to be honest, it was, you know, it was nice to be there, obviously, but I was thinking a lot of when we went last year. There was a lot of things. Obviously, track never changed. You know, the paddock never changed. I sent Jordan a photo of the paddock club. That's where we stood and met the drivers. Basically, everything was all the same. And yeah, remember when we went, obviously didn't get the seat like that I did then. But again, it was great to be there as well. Obviously, kind of good where I was sitting. Obviously, a little bit of a grandstand. It wasn't great, but great view. Obviously, of them coming down into the parabolica, basically at the 300-meter board. That's where I was standing. Obviously, watching them fly down. Great Italian atmosphere. The tifosi were everywhere. There was kind of half a telly in my view, so I could see like the permutations and things like that. Obviously, every time Vettel came past, or every time Vettel was on the circuit, you knew when he was, because obviously people were cheering his name as they did Raikkonen. Obviously, Mercedes, you knew where they were on the counterpoint because obviously they got a bit of booze. And yeah, just an unbelievable atmosphere. The cars were flying down on the green flag, and not lap one, because again, like Belgium,
frustrated.
There was no start.
But obviously,
it actually is, Jordan. It really is
brilliant. But obviously, when we went to Italy in 2017, one driver wasn't in Formula One, but was going to be in Formula One come the end of the season. Was obviously young Charles Leclerc. Now, as we record this, he's been announced that, well, by no surprise, that he's been announced driving for Ferrari, as I've already explained. But probably one of the biggest shocks, I would think, Lyle, is the fact that Kimi Raikkonen isn't retiring and he's going to Sauber. I mean, what is that all about? I mean, obviously you. Well, I say I wasn't saying that you're a bit of a Sauber follower, and obviously not really. You're more of a Haas follower. But let's give your opinion. Okay, we both obviously like the big teams. We're both big fans of Charles Leclerc. We both wanted him to be in that Ferrari seat. Kimi Raikkonen, but we both love Kimi Raikkonen. We love his driving. We love his how great he is, and obviously how quiet he is. Really, are you surprised he's gone to Sauber? I mean, obviously, a lot of us were expecting. A lot of us were expecting for him to retire, not go to Sauber. But what's your initial reaction with him going to Sauber?
Okay, Jordan. Obviously, I mean, I do like Kimi Raikkonen. Okay, he's a good driver. Obviously, he has been, for all the years being in Formula One. Obviously, he's been with Renault. He's been with Lotus, Renault. Obviously, he's been with Ferrari for basically his whole career. Obviously, absolutely fantastic driver. 100 podiums. 100 podium was in Monza as well. But, and I've said this stat absolutely loads, Jordan. I said it when we met up. It's been, he was on pole position. He was set to win, and obviously, what happened in this weekend or last weekend even, it didn't really matter. But going into Monza, it was 106 rounds between when he last won in Australia 2013 and this race. Now, to win, it's not essential. I know that sounds really strange, but it's not essential. Yeah. But he's a Ferrari driver. It's Scuderia Ferrari. They've been in Formula 1 for 71 years. Come Italy, so obviously 71 years now. They've been in Formula 1, or at least even before Formula 1 was called Formula 1. They'd been in Formula 1. Obviously, massive attack. Basically, one of the biggest brands in the world, and I'll say richest team. Now, to be in that seat and not win. Yes, he's had a great. He has good qualifying sessions. Yes, he has good race. Obviously, he was in a pole position in Italy, which was great. I was kind of like a screw to all of his haters and things like that. But yeah. I'm just like, I think for a few years he was kind of taking that seat, and he was keeping it from basically someone else filling it. Now, I'm not saying anyone was basically going through the ranks to take it. Basically, before Charles was, I just think that basically heading into this season, if he didn't give that, if Charles didn't take that Ferrari seat on the first point, if just him being in that Ferrari seat, if he didn't give up that Ferrari seat and let someone else take it, someone who basically is younger and had more fire to actually win for the team, because Seb is obviously winning. Seb's in contention for the World Championship. They're in contention for the Constructors' World Championship, and obviously doing a great job on track to winning it as well, obviously, as long as it can keep Mercedes at bay. So, is he the right person to be in that Ferrari seat? Should he let someone else come in? Now, basically, when Maranello said that they were going to, release some news in the last few days, and they didn't, I was getting quite worried that he was going to be Kimi Raikkonen, was going to be re-signed, and basically Charles would go to Sauber and he'd stay there. And actually, there was a rumour that he was going to stay there on his agreed salary at Sauber till 2020, and then he would go into that seat, basically just to get Charles ready. But I'm really glad that he's moved seats, Jordan. And now, obviously, going back to your question, am I happy that Kimi's staying in Formula 1? Yes, I am, because I think he's worthy of being in Formula 1. And going back to Sauber, okay, this is kind of a question for you as well. Going back to Sauber, is that a little bit like Alonso going back to McLaren? Now, I know Alonso went back to McLaren because it was Honda, and he thought, oh wow, this is great. Honda are coming back, they're going to be on top of the world. And I know he was also going back to kind of make up for being there, obviously, in 2007 Spygate scandal, when obviously a lot of the blame was given on Alonso. Mm-hmm. So I know Alonso had his reasons why he was going back, but the main reason was he was going back there to basically, he was getting to the end of his career. He knew he wasn't right at Ferrari anymore, but he was going back there to obviously hopefully win, which is of course what Kimi's doing, which is of course what every driver in Formula 1's doing. But Alonso going back to McLaren, is that like what Kimi's doing now with Sauber? I'm not saying do you expect him to have the same seasons, because obviously you're going to want that Ferrari engine is going to be probably not going to be like what Honda was. But do you think Kimi going to Sauber is A, the right decision? B, going to be great for him? And yeah, is it like Alonso going to McLaren?
It is like kind of like a similar sort of story, but bearing in mind that Alonso's first stint in McLaren wasn't as good as his second, because his first stint was only one season against a young driver in Lewis Hamilton, and obviously he didn't like being basically playing second fiddle to him. Hamilton was beating him when everyone was expecting Alonso to absolutely annihilate Hamilton at this point, and Hamilton kind of obviously, as like I said, no, that's not happening. And obviously you had the controversy in 2007 when McLaren got ducked all their points. It didn't help Fernando Alonso's cause. He jumped ship back to Renault. Again, that would have been cheaper. Well, I would say the same sort of scenario is happening with Ferrari and Sauber. He's going back to Sauber, probably cheaper. Sauber's probably getting cheaper again with the whole Ferrari deal as well. But if you think about it, it does make a lot of sense, because as I said there, it will be cheaper for Sauber to sign Kimi Raikkonen and then probably sign another driver. Giovinazzi was heavily tipped to go in that Sauber seat. Now, Kimi Raikkonen has signed a 2-year contract, which again, I was very surprised at that, more than him going to Sauber. I was like, okay, he's going to Sauber, but he's going there for 2 years. Like, wow, I was not expecting the 2-year deal. And so yeah, I think that pretty much puts the nails in the coffin for Giovinazzi's F1 career. He'll probably look elsewhere. But I mean, I'm very happy that Kimi Raikkonen is staying in Formula 1. I do like him a lot. But as like I said before, if you think about it, it does make a lot of sense. Now, the second reason I was going to say was, despite Kimi Raikkonen being quite quiet and quite keep himself to himself and quite arrogant in a way, behind the scenes, apparently he is quite good at getting the car ready, season ready for the upcoming season or the upcoming race. Now, Sauber need all the help they can get. They need somebody with a lot of experience to help push the team forward. Raikkonen will bring a lot of money, a lot of sponsorship with him, and they will bring a lot of TV cameras onto Sauber, because Kimi Raikkonen is a Ferrari. He's a legend. At Sauber. He's a legend in Formula 1 right now. He's arguably one of the best F1 drivers. You know, not by stats, but by pure driving ability, and that's what it's all about. Well, one half of it is anyways, the other half being the car. So a lot of sponsors might go to Sauber and kind of put their name on Sauber's car, give Sauber a bit more money, and pushing them forward in the grid. Which would be good to see a lot of teams battling in the midfield, rather than having all the team like 2 or 3 teams at the back, like we have been seeing in recent years, and pushing them forward. So Sauber will be very happy with that, and obviously keeping the Alfa Romeo deal and keeping Marcus Ericsson alongside Kimi Raikkonen, even though he's not officially confirmed. More than likely he will stay at Sauber. Marcus Ericsson will again bring in more money for the team. So things are looking up for Sauber without a shadow of a doubt. But obviously, who did they go then after Kimi Raikkonen remains to be seen. But there was actually a little rumour going about before that they announced Kimi Raikkonen was going to Sauber, was obviously, if he does sign for Sauber, that apparently he was going to become part owner of Sauber, which is a bit random. I would have thought. I don't know how true that story is. I don't know if it will be true. I don't know what Kimi has in store. He might do. I don't know. And obviously he could change the name to Sauber, I suppose. I don't know. Or Kimi Grand Prix or something. I don't know. Just a random name there. But I mean, that'd be good to see. Of course, staying obviously keeping Kimi Raikkonen in Formula 1.
Wow.
Wow. Exactly.
They'll make the drivers say, wow. So basically, he will say. So Kimi Raikkonen will say to Marcus Ericsson, let's say for next year, you say, you don't talk to media without saying boah. So basically, they'll talk to Marcus Ericsson. How did the Australian Grand Prix in 2019? How did that go? Was it a good race? Yeah, it was a good race. Oh no, sorry. Wow, it was a good race, and you never forget what Kimi Raikkonen has told you. I mean, but yeah, exactly. John, just one thing while I have the air. As I say, when you said about Kimi Raikkonen, he would bring more attention because he was Ferrari driver, and that kind of links with Alonso at McLaren. Yeah. But then on the other side of the spectrum, because again, Alonso was probably less of a legend than obviously Raikkonen, but a legend you can say is Massa. Obviously, he didn't win the World Championship with Ferrari, but he's a legend. So when he went to Williams, do you think that's kind of going to be the same with him? Because obviously, Williams got a lot more. In my mind, they got a lot more publicity from them. Massa also brought obviously sponsorships, as he said, money, as he said, and also personnel from Ferrari, like you said. So do you think it's going to be like Massa at Williams?
Yeah, well, I definitely, I would say it is a very probably similar scenario. Kimi going to Sauber than it was, Massa going to Williams, because Sauber was probably the only place Kimi would have went I'm sure a lot of teams would have obviously known before us that Kimi was going to leave, and maybe Williams would have tried to grab him up, maybe Toro Rosso would have, I don't know. But Kimi obviously would have been like, right, okay, I do want to stay in Formula 1. He would have went back to Sauber just to kind of finish what he started at Sauber. But like with Massa probably had the only option to stay in Formula 1 would have been with Williams. And obviously in that case, Massa did love Formula 1 when he was there. He wanted to stay, but like Kimi Raikkonen as well. And I think that's why we're a lot of us are surprised that he hasn't retired, because I think Kimi likes the sport that much. Obviously, he doesn't show his expression, he doesn't show his emotions that much. Even when he won the won the World Championship, he was like smiling, but he wasn't exactly like Alonso or a Hamilton, you know, crying, tears streaming down.
When I was when Kimi won, when he got pole position in Italy, I was actually expecting him to be like kind of to let all of the as I say, the 106 races, all that kind of time, you know, between Australia 2013, I was actually hoping that all of that would explode in this kind of just a fit of emotions, and obviously it wasn't. And obviously I didn't watch quali because I was working, but obviously I was expecting basically him to be going, I've won it, I've got pole, you know, just absolutely explode, and it's classic Kimi just to stay calm in a game when he was on the podium. He waved to the fan. It was actually I saw some of the podium through all the cracks, and by the way, through all of the booing, which I showed John the other day, and oh my god, that was insane. That
was weird.
That was insane. But obviously, to be honest, probably out of all of what I've seen Kimi between probably as well as winning the World Championship, and he was a little bit more energetic, but he still was a bit more. He wasn't crying like Seb did, for example. But on the podium this time, his 100th podium in front of the Tifosi, the only guy to kind of, you know, do well in the race. Obviously Seb did an amazing job to get up to fourth, obviously eventually to fourth position, obviously fifth in the race, but you know, that was great, he got clapped all the way. But Raikkonen really kind of absorbed all of the Tifosi love, and when I saw him on the podium, he was a little bit more kind of, he had more joy in him, but obviously still, you know, normal Kimi Raikkonen, isn't it? You know, how do you feel? Okay, I guess. Wow, okay.
Obviously that's what I think we'll have spoken about Kimi Raikkonen to Sauber, but obviously the biggest story is Charles Leclerc going to Ferrari. Yeah. What a massive opportunity this is for a young Charles Leclerc. Please, Charles, grab it with both hands, and honestly do not mess it up, because we have seen a couple of drivers get big drives, like most recently Danica Kvyat to Red Bull, and he hasn't done anything with it. I hope that I think he will, but I do hope that Charles Leclerc does do wonders. And it is nice to see Ferrari actually put their trust in pretty much one of their own, because we've seen loads of drivers come through the ranks from the Ferrari Drivers Academy, like Giovinazzi and obviously Sergio Perez as well. Romain Grosjean, I think was one of those linked with Ferrari in some sort of way. Obviously, not kind of like cast aside, not given the chance, and obviously they've always stuck with like the big boys, like your Schumachers or your Alonso's or your Raikkonen's, or you know, more recently. So it is something different to see that Ferrari going for a younger driver. I think this is Ferrari's youngest driver since Rodriguez. I think it was back in the 1960s. I think
he was 19, and he was 19, and I think it was 205 days. Something like that, I last saw. And then Charles is obviously about 20. Well, he's coming on obviously October's 21st birthday. As I said at the start of the episode, you know, younger than me and Jordan as well.
That's crazy.
Jordan, do you know how many drivers there is younger than us?
Well, you've got. Let's try and get this one. Okay,
we're 21, by the way. He's going on 22 in December. I just turned 21 in August. So right, when we never thought we'd be at this stage where we'd think we'd have drivers, you know, older than us, but younger than us. Sorry, but yeah, it happened, and obviously there is a number. See if you can get it.
I'm going to guess.
And why don't you let us know in the comments section if any drivers, unless you're 40, that's probably unfair, but if you're a young guy like us, you know, let us know if there's any drivers younger than us, and you know, tell us the difference. Are you close to a guy's age? For example, I'm close to Max Verstappen's age. He's about, I think it was something like 18 days older than us. No, he's not. It's like middle of September, but yeah, he's close to us anyway. And you know, I like to think that and hold on to that. So tell us if you're close to a driver's age and what driver's younger and older than you.
I'm gonna guess 5.
4. There is Lance Stroll, who's 18 going on 19, Esteban Ocon, Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen.
What about Pierre Gasly?
It's 5 then. Nice one.
I had Pierre Gasly. I had Sorokin in my head, but I couldn't remember how old he was.
I don't think Sorokin is. I knew those 4.
I know Carlos Sainz is 23, so he's just over our age.
Yeah.
And that's all I can think of. But I think, obviously, I know Hartley's 28. Gasly, obviously, Hartley's nowhere near that. But Gasly, I think he's 21. Well, I think he is younger, or might be older than me, but younger than you. I don't know.
Yeah.
But next season it'll be 6 because we'll have Lando Norris, who's 18, guys. Right. When I did my video, I thought it was like 19, 20-year-old. He's 8 bloody teen. Oh my god, I feel too old, mate. I feel way too old. But I would say probably the biggest question, as you can probably see by the title of this video, Lyle, I'm going to ask you this: does Charles Leclerc deserve this Ferrari seat? Does he deserve it? Has he earned it? Has it been? Has he done what he has to do to get that seat, or do you think it's way too soon? Tell me. I
think with Charles Leclerc, I think there's quite a few factors in it as well. Now the thing with I'm comparing this to Max Verstappen when he got the seat at Red Bull. Obviously, as you know, now it's become apparent that it was he was Red Bull Junior Program, and that basically Jos Verstappen was kind of blunt with Red Bull and said, if you don't put him in Red Bull, we're going to take him out. We're going to take him to Ferrari's Junior Program.
Yeah.
But on the case of Charles. Now, obviously, great driver, but the thing is, even before he came into Formula 1, Jordan, obviously, for example, I know that you were obviously very fond of him. Obviously, a lot of people picked him as basically their driver, mainly because he was young. You know, he entered Formula 1, 19 or 20. He was kind of unheard of before that, but obviously he was still, for the people in the know, he was heard of. Obviously, moving forward, he was a Monegascan driver, and I think they're very, very, very rare. I can't think of any other driver that's been from Monaco. He might have even been the first, I don't know.
I'm sure there was one. I'm sure I heard something where it's like, oh, he's the first Monacan driver to drive at Monaco since whoever. I'm sure there has been, but from top
that's awesome. But it's Monaco. I mean, that's a nice place to be from anyway. A great driver from the lower categories. Obviously, Monegascan driver. Basically, and another reason, obviously, he was linked with. He was friends with Gio Bianchi. Obviously, a lot of people saw that as kind of like a spiritualist, and obviously, a bit very special. A little bit like if Mick Schumacher came into Formula 1. Obviously, the son of Michael Schumacher. Not the same because they're not blood relations, but still very, very close. So when Charles Leclerc came in, obviously there was a lot of buzz around him as well. Basically for those kind of reasons, but the reasons that we thought he would succeed. Obviously, I think it was 13th he first came in Australia, and then basically a few kind of good finishes for Sauber, but out of the points. His first points came in Azerbaijan, I think, and then he got 3 off the bounce in Canada. France, obviously, is not his home race, but very, very, that's just outside Nice, so very, very close. And obviously Austria, which I remember was a really, really good race by him. So anyway, so good point finishes, but obviously even when he was in Formula 1, going 15th, 16th, 17th, people still kind of had this very big inhalation about him that he was going to be the next big thing. I think, to be honest, it just came down to what people thought about him, obviously what you felt inside and things like that. There was also the side of basically what the media had on him, and the media were exactly the same as what I'm saying now. Is the media thought he was great for some reason, and it's really hard to explain. The media just kind of grabbed onto him and thought, he's going to be the next big thing. Obviously, no one could say that. You can't kind of say 100% somewhat online on telly. You can't say that this is going to happen, but a lot of people thought he was going to be the next big thing, and he was going to move up the ranks fast. Another thing that played into his mind was another thing that played in his favour was obviously what was going to happen at Ferrari, what was Kimi Raikkonen going to do, what was even Sebastian Vettel going to do, because obviously he's in his 10th season of obviously 11th but 10th full season of Formula 1. What's he going to do? What's the team going to do? And what's Sauber going to do? Obviously, because they're still kind of fighting over that financial money. As I say, the second lowest team for finance, obviously just above Haas. So basically, all these factors played into the fact where we all thought Charles was a great driver and he was going to move up very, very fast. But the only thing is, obviously, Jordan, there's other drivers who, were bred into the Ferrari Junior Program, obviously like Sergio Perez, obviously drove for Sauber beforehand, kind of broke chains and went to McLaren, but came back in, and obviously still, wants to be a Ferrari driver, wants to be at Ferrari one day. And obviously you've got the Ferrari junior team, Haas, see Roman Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen, obviously Gutierrez, he went into their third place driver, obviously in 2017, obviously when he got kicked out of the seat for K-Mag. So again, obviously you've got those teams, obviously the Ferrari engine teams, the Ferrari base teams, the drivers who are still supported by a Ferrari, who are still in the Ferrari Junior Program. So in that sense, he's kind of skipped the line, yes. And maybe some people aren't thinking that, hang on a minute, he skipped the line, he skipped Grosjean, and he skipped Perez, and he skipped even like Ocon and that, who should be going up forward. He's even skipped over Gutierrez and Danny Kvyat, who have been test drivers for Ferrari in the last few years. So in that sense, You know, yeah, he might have skipped the queue, he might have jumped the gun, he might have got into the seat a little bit earlier than he should have, and it might be a bit of a Verstappen incident where people on the outside looking in, because remember he's not driven for them yet, apart from maybe a few tests, we're thinking, oh my god, what's he done? He's replaced I mean, we never thought Danny Kvyat was a great driver. I'm not saying Danny's the same as Kimi, sorry if you think that sounds like that, but if we're looking on the outside in, because he hasn't driven for them yet, and we're thinking, oh, you know, he's probably not going to succeed very well, it's just hope. And it's just, you know, kind of the trust. And it's like what you said at the start of the episode, Jordan. It's basically Ferrari have opened their minds and thought, right, we're going to do something we haven't done in a very, very, very long time. And we are going to basically sign a guy this is his rookie year. And he needs to step up. And we're going to give him a chance. And that's what Ferrari never really do. They're going to give him a chance.
Yeah, it's
and I think it's absolutely fantastic. Oh, definitely. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So to answer your question.
Yeah.
So answer your question. You know, do I think he's worthy? I think he's had some great drives, and I think he is. But it's only what I and you and other people think about what he's going to do. Kind of the trust, kind of the foresight, kind of the we trust him to do well. Because at the moment, I mean, obviously because he's in the Sauber, he can't be scoring points all the time. At the moment, he hasn't proved himself on paper. But it's what we think he'll do, and you know, he just kind of lights everyone's hearts up. He brings that kind of, you know, look and wonder what I'm going to do. I mean, what he's done with the team is fantastic, but in my mind, it is very much like a just, you know, wait and see what he does. And Ferrari definitely have that backing in him. If anything, that's the same as Max, because you know, I'm not saying Red Bull, they took Max on. Remember that situation, John, and you've got to remember before the Spanish Grand Prix, when you think about Max, you think about the controversy, you think about we made that video, you know, what was it called? Well, trading places. Yeah, remember that, guys?
Oh, wow.
Do you remember
11,
that?
I think it was
1 hour long, but that was a long episode. That's a throwback. But yeah, and we talked about that, and that's basically the same as this, Jordan. You know, we're talking about, is Max worthy because he hadn't won the race yet? It was all the trust, and Red Bull had the trust, and now Ferrari have the trust, and that's really great. And really, the big things to come out of this is Ferrari have the trust, we have the belief, and it's great. And I don't think that he's worthy on paper, but he's just got to wait and see. I mean, these next few rounds, like Singapore onwards, he might do a good race. And when I say good for Sauber is, you know, sneaking into the points. He's probably never going to get higher than 6. You know, hopefully, touch wood, he does. I'm not saying you know he won't, but probably normally no higher than 6. That's still a good race if he finishes all these races with some in the points. So if he scores a few points in, let's say, Japan or whatever, Abu Dhabi, that would be great. So on paper, he hasn't proved himself yet, because one season he might have jumped the queue, but it's the trust and it's kind of the belief people have in him, which that's what you should take away from the episode, and that's what I believe, that it's kind of the belief that Ferrari have and the trust that they have in his car to partner Sebastian Vettel, 4-time world champion, obviously 11th season in Formula 1, you know, starting 2019. He's chasing 5. Is he going to get it? If he does or he doesn't, it doesn't matter. He's still going to be a great driver. 11 seasons, you know, multiple world championships, and it's so exciting for Charles. But that's the word of the day, Jordan, from me, belief in it. Yeah. Anyway, a big episode, obviously, massive topic as well. There will be loads of news and speculation, obviously, coming out between those two drivers, because it's absolutely massive. We still have loads of the season to go. Quickly on the silly season, it never ends. It's like it just never ceases to stop. Obviously, we've already had some massive signs. I think this is probably one of the only times I've ever seen where so many drivers have been signed already, but we still have a loads of way to go. I hope there's actually more like seats going, but the grid that we have at the moment is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, anyway, so obviously this is the end of our episode. Obviously, thank you very much for watching. The first video I've been back in, obviously a few videos Jordan's done on his own, obviously. As I said at the start,
it's good to be back.
Yes, definitely very good to be back. Obviously, I hope you've enjoyed the videos that he's been doing on his own. Obviously, I've been keeping up the track with them. And definitely absolutely massive, and I've been very jealous. Obviously, I've been wanting to be on camera to talk about them because they are just so big topics. Obviously, in the next few episodes, I'll be giving some of my quick opinions. Obviously, it'll be old news then, but I'll be giving some of my quick opinions on obviously signs into McLaren, Alonso out, and just things like that, because obviously that's just unbelievable, and I've got no one else to tell. I mean, he doesn't really care really when we're off camera. He doesn't care. So I've got someone. I need someone to tell. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching this episode. Obviously from me and Jordan on the other end. Thanks for watching, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you later.
See you later, guys. Thank you very much for watching.
Don't tell Jordan.